Hey, it's Dave from House of Cards, and I just want to take a moment to talk about our friends at PennBets.com. You know, Pennsylvania recently legalized online gambling, so it won't be long before the first online gambling sites start launching across the Keystone State. So if you want to be a player in Pennsylvania, you need a place to go to stay on top of the latest developments, and that's why you need to check out PennBets.com. PennBets.com is led by industry experts and provides the most in-depth coverage of this new and exciting online gambling market. News, reviews, the latest slots, table games, poker. At PennBets.com, you'll have everything you need to navigate the Pennsylvania online gambling scene at your fingertips. Where can you play? What's the latest game being offered? Which casino is running which site? You'll find these answers and much, much more at PennBets.com. Pennsylvania is a new market for online gambling, and things happen fast. So you need a resource that's reliable, insightful, and most of all, trustworthy. And that's PennBets.com. That's PennBets.com. Stay ahead of the game with PennBets.com. Welcome to another week of Turnpike Sports. I am Dave Weishuttle, and as always, I am joined by Doug Weishuttle, producer and co-host. Doug, hey, how you doing?
Wide awake and ready to go. We've had a busy week. We've had the Olympics going full bore here. We're now hitting the midpoint of the NBA season with the All-Star weekend upon us. It's been actually a very busy week here.
I know the post-Super Bowl hangover is gone, and we're getting into some real winter sports now. So, hey, let's take a ride on the Turnpike.
Exit 1.
And speaking of the Olympics, we're going to start off with that. And let me just preface this segment by saying it's the same situation, but a different sport, and the same defense of this situation.
Sure. I got to be honest, too, with regard to the Olympics, I haven't watched too much of it.
I actually have been watching some of the highlights.
I haven't watched it.
It's the first Winter Olympics I'm paying attention to be honest with you. So, but This is what they're facing now. Same thing with football. Lower ratings on TV.
Well, they got so many ways to watch it. I mean, it's streaming, it's digital, you can watch it on your phone now. I can't remember. I don't know if in Sochi you can watch it on your phone or your tablets. I don't remember.
Well, back 4 years ago.
Back then, 4 years.
Yeah, back then, 4 years ago, they didn't have the digital outlets that they have now. Mm-hmm. And let me point this out. It's again NBC.
Okay.
NBC had the same problem with the Super Bowl. They had down ratings. They have down ratings this year with the Olympics. The first week are down 6%.
But aren't they claiming that they're making money for their advertisers, or they're hitting all their benchmarks for their advertisers? So
they have sold.
Yes, it's okay.
They sold $900 million in advertising all across the board, broadcast, digital, all that stuff. And what they have is they've got just under 24 million average viewers, and according to their statements, they have an additional 2 million viewers digitally.
Okay.
Now, that's NBC, NBC Sports Network, NBC Sports app. I think even Yahoo's involved with this stuff, too.
I guess that's difficult to track using the traditional way to gather ratings. So, I guess they have to go downloads or however they measure it.
That's their defense. There's so many outlets for this, and it's their own creation, too, that they have so many different outlets.
But didn't they downplay the expectations for advertisers, too? I mean, they
didn't downplay the expectations. They said they're achieving and going beyond what they predicted in terms of viewership.
Yeah, but if you don't predict too high, you're going to achieve your goals. Aim high, NBC. Aim high.
Well, again, I still think NBC is just overloading with everything. But, that's the way they want to do it. And they're making money. They sold out $900 million. They did the same thing with the Super Bowl. They sold more with this Super Bowl than they have in a while.
I absolutely promise to NBC and the USA that I will catch some of the Olympics this week.
Don't make promises you can't keep there.
I'll watch it.
Exit 2.
Seattle has filed to become an NHL expansion team.
I think this is a great story. Great story. Good for Seattle. Great sports town. And
they were the largest market without a professional winter sports team, Major League.
It's ridiculous. I mean, for the NHL, I think the Las Vegas Golden Knights have demonstrated that you can have an expansion hockey team and it do very well. Not do very well. The Golden Knights are one of the best teams in the league. So, you're not a doormat if you're an expansion team. You can contend and you can draw crowds.
The one thing I like about this new team here, potential new team, not only will it bring in $650 million to the league, that's great for them, but it's going to even out the conferences. 32 teams now.
I mean, that's just mathematically, that's great. And by the way, while you're at it, hey, bring back the Seattle Supersonics too.
Well,
come on, NBA.
That's the NBA. Come
on, NBA. Come on.
And you know what?
Bring back this. I want Seattle to have, the Mariners in the summertime, and you got the Seahawks. Then you get you're not going to call them the Supersonics because I guess Oklahoma City still owns that trademark.
Well, they weren't even called the Supersonics when they left Seattle. They were just the Sonics. They dropped Super.
Well, I like the Supersonics because I love that song. The Super. I should have told you to.
You know what?
That.
No one
and they
is going to even
hockey.
remember it. No, if you're not our age, you're not even going to know Seattle Supersonics had a song. So
yeah. By the way, one little tidbit for the NHL and Seattle. Seattle was the first American team to win the Stanley Cup in 1917. So that's a little history for you.
If this group actually gets
I think
approved,
I read that. That was the Seattle.
Yeah.
What was it? Seattle.
You know what?
Metropolitans. Seattle Metropolitans.
See,
the Pacific Coast Hockey Association.
You got me on that one too, because I'll be honest with you. I've just started turning toward hockey in the last 5 to 10 years. I really don't know too much about some of these outlying histories things. But also, if this goes through, this is another instance of Hollywood money coming in.
Yeah, Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yep.
Oh,
and you have another billionaire. You have a former NHL executive, too, who's head of this group. It's the Oak Venture Group or whatever. So they made their $10 million application fee. That's a down payment on the $650 million expansion fee if they get approved. So that's a good chunk of change coming in.
Seattle is one of those great cities that deserve 4 major sports teams.
Even if it's raining all the time?
Well, that makes it fun.
It's home of Starbucks.
Hey, well, I'm sure that's going to be the Starbucks Arena.
Oh, that would probably be the most caffeinated and energetic group out there if that happens.
Exit 3.
Pitchers and catchers have reported.
Yep, I love it.
And right off the bat, we have Goose Gossage ripping the Yankees. Brian Cashman in particular.
Hey, Goose, sit back and enjoy baseball, man. I don't know why you're so angry. I mean,
he wasn't
a Hall of Famer. I know he wasn't invited to be a special instructor, but... come on, man.
Well,
you're not going to get invited if you act like that.
This is nothing new for Gossage. He's done, was it Mariano Rivera? He said, don't compare me to him or don't compare him to me. Rivera only pitched 1 inning a game. I pitched multiple innings. That's a crazy argument to say that because, you know what?
I think he had something to say about Bautista.
And also
Cespedes. Was he bat flipping? Or
both of them were bat flipping. Plus, also, he has a thing against sabermetrics.
And boy, he really went after Cashman, though.
Oh, he did. He did a profanity lace.
If Steinbrenner was still around, Cashman would be gone, I guess. I'm paraphrasing, but...
Well, you have to paraphrase because you can't curse like that.
Yeah, I'm not cursing, so I'm paraphrasing.
You said he said Cashman had no balls.
Okay.
So, you know what? It's one of those things. He didn't like also them firing Girardi or not renewing Girardi's contract.
There's a way to say it, and Gossage is saying it all the wrong way.
But he says it the right way for the media.
Yeah, media loves him. New York media loves him.
It can't be the start of spring training without Gossage saying something about somebody somewhere. So
it's baseball season when Gossage throws out the first curse word.
Talk about the first pitch, yeah.
Exit 4.
We're faced with another All-Star weekend here with the NBA All-Stars starting up. They have charity games, they have celebrity games, all that stuff. You looking forward to anything with this?
You know what? I thought about the All-Star game when I was looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They won 4 in a row. I was like, oh my God, they're gelling. And what happens right smack in the middle of when they got to have play on the court to really gel? All-Star break. What bad timing.
Well, basically,
bad timing.
So basically you're saying you're not looking forward to All-Star weekend.
Bump.
You're looking forward to after the All-Star weekend.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how Cleveland continues their run after the All-Star week.
Everyone's talking about all the different events, the slam dunk, all that stuff. You know what? The slam dunk lost its luster way back when Dominique Wilkins was there. Spud Webb
was the best person for the dunk contest. It looked strange. What was he, 5'4"? And he was dunking. And who was the guy who dunked over a car?
That was Dwight Howard, wasn't it? It wasn't Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard had the Superman's cape.
That was what was his Blake? What the hell was it?
Blake Griffin.
Yeah, he
did
over Kia, was that?
Yeah, but he really didn't do it. He went over the hood. He didn't go over the top of it.
I don't think he should try that now.
No, not in Detroit. Nope. Well, actually, that'd be a good sponsorship for Detroit.
Yeah,
there.
Detroit. Jump over a car. Perfect.
Yeah. One of the things I was looking at, I noticed, and Under Armour made this a huge deal. They just released the Steph Curry 4. It's a shoe. And he's going to be wearing a version on the court.
Who released it?
Under Armour.
Under Armour, okay.
It's an all-white sneaker with SC blazoned on the side. It's all in white, translucent white with the SC.
It's a very reputable company, unlike the Big Baller brand.
Yeah, basically. Okay, but you know what?
But how much are these shoes cost? I mean, do they release a price yet?
Normally they say that some of these shoes aren't for sale to the public. They're making this one available for sale to the public.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this one.
$130 a pair.
As far as sneakers,
that's not bad.
Is that bad or good? I mean, I remember
when
I was a kid, the Converse weren't that expensive.
Well, nothing was that expensive.
The Chuck Taylors.
Look, I mean, when you got shoes out there for $300 a pair, this is actually reasonably priced, I guess you can say.
$130, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Well,
that's it for the rundown. To get in touch with us over at Turnpike Sports, you can call or text us at 609-512-6510. Again, 609-512-6510. Hit us up on Facebook or Twitter at Turnpike Sports. Email us at info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget to order your International Bikini Team calendars for 2018, $10. Email them at info@internationalbikini-team.org for all the information and ordering details.
And stick around later in the show. I'll be talking with Adam Small. We talked about the Super Bowl, and they set some betting records out in Las Vegas, and I saw it in Atlantic City. And Atlantic City left a lot of money on the table because they weren't allowed to sports bet. But with the U.S. Supreme Court coming down pretty soon on whether New Jersey can start sports betting, we're talking with Adam Small from PennBets.com and NJOnlineGambling.com about the possibility of sports betting in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So stick around. It's a great interview.
And we'll have our normal segments of Injury Report and Turnpike Sports Police Blotter. So come back in a little bit for more Turnpike Sports.
Now, I'm sure everyone has made some sort of New Year's resolution, whether it's to lose weight, work harder at the office, whatever. And we always seem to break them a few weeks into the year. Well, here's one resolution you need to make and keep. Getting a good night's sleep with MyPillow. They're the most comfortable pillows on the market. Its patented interlocking fill adjusts to everyone and their sleeping habits. I use MyPillow all the time. I sleep great at night and wake up pain-free. I even travel with MyPillow. And now there's a great new deal being offered by the folks at MyPillow. For a limited time, House of Cards listeners can receive a very special offer. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and use promo code CARDS or call 1-800-319-7913 to take advantage of this 4-pack special. You'll get 50% off 2 MyPillow premium pillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. MyPillow.com with promo code CARDS. That's promo code CARDS to take advantage of this 4-pack special. Better sleep starts with MyPillow.
Have you ever wanted something so bad that you do just about anything for it? Well, that's exactly how we feel about you. That's right. AdamandEve.com wants you so bad. We're giving you 10 free gifts with your first order. You heard me right. That's 10 free gifts to spice up your love life. First, you'll get a sexy surprise for her. Second, an adventurous toy for him. And third, a little something we know you'll both enjoy. Plus, you'll get 6 full-length adult movies on DVD. And number 10, free shipping on your entire order. That's 10 free gifts for you shy types who've never tried Adam and Eve before. Just go to AdamandEve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy, a sexy piece of lingerie, or anything you desire. Just enter offer code BABE16 at checkout, and you'll get all 10 free gifts, including free shipping. That's offer code BABE16. That's BABE16 at AdamandEve.com.
Hey, this is Doug Weishall of Turnpike Sports with your Turnpike Sports Weekly Injury Report. The New Jersey Devils have placed goaltender Corey Schneider on injured reserve with groin and hip injuries. The team made the move on Monday. Schneider, the team's leading goalie with a 17-11-6 record with a 2.79 goals against average, will begin skating again next week. The Philadelphia Flyers announced that starting goalie Brian Elliott will miss 5 to 6 weeks after undergoing core muscle surgery. Elliott suffered the injury in their game against the Coyotes, playing 65 minutes and recording 24 saves in the game. Elliott had faced 2 skaters in the shootout before being forced to leave due to the injury. Over in the NBA, Los Angeles Lakers guard Lonzo Ball may not be participating in this weekend's Rising Stars Challenge during the NBA's All-Star Weekend. Ball had been held out of regular season games by the team due to an MCL sprain and is not expected to be brought back onto the court until after the All-Star break. And finally, in the Winter Olympics, U.S. luger Emily Sweeney is reported to be okay following a crash during her final run in the event. Sweeney was on curve 12 of the luge track when she bounced around and crashed. Sweeney had remained conscious and eventually walked off under her own power. This is Doug Weishaw for Turnpike Sports. Come back next week, and in the meantime, let's be careful out there.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. You know, I was listening to the injury report, and Elliott, the goaltender for Flyers, has a core injury or an injury to your core, and for some reason, that sounds so painful to me. I don't know. Is that your gut or your groin, or what is that? It has to be a groin or a gut somewhere.
Ever since yoga became popular, the core. I don't even know what actually. I know it's the stomach and the sides.
I'm sure that's really important for a goalie because your core is what you move with. So,
well, I think it's everything that sets balance and all that other stuff. But you know what? Again, it's almost a yoga term being used in an injury report, and it's actually being used to cover up specific injuries too. If you think about it, because they're not saying exactly what is wrong with the kid.
Well, hockey is always weird because they always say upper body injury, lower body injury. They're very vague on what the injury is. So injury to your core. I guess that's another vagary from the NHL.
Thank God it's not like that in football, because football has to be very specific in what's being hurt or what was hurt or whatever. But Patriots seem to get around it all the time with their injury reports.
Yeah, right.
So they must take a page out of the NHL.
Yeah. Well, now it's time for my favorite section of the show, the Turnpike Sports Police Blotter. The Turnpike Sports Police Blotter is brought to you by Bean Genius. Over 2,000 specialty coffee blends available at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Have some of the best coffee in the country delivered right to your door each month when you subscribe to Bean Genius. And now get 10% off your subscription when you sign up at beangenius.com using our promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E, at checkout. Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service.
Gotta love the alliteration of that.
Oh, yeah. It's not an easy thing to say either.
No, it's a tongue twister. It's like the Susie sells seashores by the seashell or whatever that is. But anyway, starting off, San Francisco 49ers linebacker Reuben Foster is in trouble again.
Oh, God.
Arrested on suspected domestic violence and weapons charges.
Oh, boy.
Released on $75,000 bail.
Boy, that bail is high.
Well, that's because of the gun.
Oh, the gun?
Well, it actually isn't a gun, to not to offend gun users out there. It was an assault rifle.
A rifle?
Assault rifle.
Okay. Is that what the police report said? Or
Police were responding to a call of an argument between him and his girlfriend, or the woman he's living with. They responded to the call for a domestic disturbance, and in the midst of getting it all settled out and searching and all that stuff, they came across the assault weapon.
Wow.
So he's facing a 1-game suspension already from a marijuana charge earlier. This is the second arrest within a month for this guy.
Wow, this is not going. What team is he with now? Or
he right now is right now he is currently.
I think it's up
with,
in the air.
Yeah, the 49ers, because everyone's watching this because the 49ers just recently cut a defensive back within 24 hours of a domestic violence arrest.
So, well, I guess they have to review. What is the process with that? Does the NFL have to review that, or is it team first, or what? How does that work?
And NFL has to review everything, but NFL usually waits until the arrest reports are complete and everything is settled in terms of the actual police section of it. Now, you know what? He's already facing a 1-game suspension for the marijuana. Under domestic abuse policy, he could be facing right off the bat a 6-game suspension.
Wow.
He's a first-time offender.
Wow. Okay.
So we'll see what happens. He may not be a 49er much longer,
Yeah,
but
right.
but you know what? It always depends on how talented the kid is.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Now we have I've got 2 right in a row here, and they're both pretty similar. Former Major League Baseball pitcher Esteban Loaiza.
Okay.
Charged with possession, transport, and sale of 44 pounds of a substance suspected to be cocaine.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Where's he transporting it with? Did he get caught on a plane or what?
A minor traffic violation.
Oh, so these are all like, if he was speeding or he ran a red light and all of a sudden they searched the car?
Well, they got him on a minor traffic violation. The issue is this car was under surveillance.
Oh,
for
okay.
suspected drug trafficking.
Oh, okay. So they kind of knew something before it was.
They got him when he pulled out of his home.
The excuse was a minor traffic violation.
Right.
Okay.
He had just left his home that he was renting on the U.S.-Mexico border.
Okay.
So there's the connection right there with some of this stuff, and they got him coming out of his house. They searched the car and found a hidden compartment that was used for smuggling.
Wow.
So they went back, got a search warrant for his house, searched the house, and they found, let's see if I can read this correctly. They found packages containing a white powder, which are still undergoing testing, but they're pretty sure it's cocaine, and it was 44 pounds with a street value of $500,000.
Wow.
Now, this was a guy who was a all-star starter back in 2003 for the Chicago White Sox.
Wow.
So he's facing multiple charges and probably more to come, too. This leads into the next guy. This is our first poker player.
Okay. I think I know what you're going to talk about.
Micah Raskin.
Yep.
He was charged with criminal possession of more than 350 pounds of marijuana, plus other drug and gun offenses.
Wow.
Here's some.
I heard that this was pretty big news in Nassau County because
largest drug bust.
Really, it was the largest
drug bust
in Nassau County. Really?
Yep.
Wow.
He was charged with, the official charges are first-degree criminal possession of marijuana, second-degree criminal possession of marijuana, fifth-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance, third-degree criminal possession of a weapon, fourth-degree criminal possession of a weapon. They found a loaded shotgun. Let me read you the laundry list.
Didn't they find you a taser, too? And
Here's the laundry list.
Why did I say find you a taser? Was
it
your taser?
No. They have 358 pounds of marijuana, hash oils containing concentrated doses of THC, drug paraphernalia, and packaging materials, and a loaded shotgun.
Wow. Not
to mention the 2016 Land Rover Range Rover that they confiscated, a 2016 Chevy Corvette, $140,000 in money, high-end artwork believed to be worth more than $100,000. This was all in his place and his storage unit.
Was he selling drugs, or is he a really good poker player? I mean, where did he get the money for this stuff?
This is the statement, the official statement. He would receive shipments of drugs on Long Island, then store it in his New York home and a Garden City storage facility before selling the drugs to people elsewhere in New York, as well as Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Virginia.
Wow.
So more arrests and charges to come. Also, let me not forget this. He had over $500,000 in street value marijuana. The hash oils, which is a whole other thing. I don't understand the drug culture, but had a street value of between $150,000 and $350,000.
Wow, for oil, huh?
Yeah,
actual oil.
Well, I don't know what they use hash oils for, but you know what? This is a guy who's cashed over $2 million in poker tournaments in his history.
Okay,
and also he just played in the Borgata Winter Poker Open.
Oh, okay.
Where thankfully he won $6,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he can hire a good lawyer.
That won't even give him a good lawyer. $6,000 for these charges? Come on. Okay, last two. Mississippi State University pitcher Zane Stevens, freshman pitcher, charged with DUI days before the season even opened. Didn't even throw one pitch for this team yet.
When does their season start? It must be
They start this
soon.
week. They started this week.
Actual baseball.
College.
Wow, I didn't know they started this quick.
Yep. Top 500 recruit. And again, days before the season starts.
Oh.
Didn't throw a regular season pitch for Mississippi State.
I don't think he will now.
No. So
he might be a little delayed. Who knows?
No comment on the team.
No comment. Yeah, okay.
And then we have Texas A&M basketball guards J.J. Caldwell and J.J. Chandler.
J.J., huh?
Yeah.
J.J.'s.
Well, one is with initials, one is with the name spelled out, J-A-Y, J-A-Y.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to refer to them as Caldwell and Chandler.
Okay.
Both charged with possessing less than 2 ounces of marijuana. And then Caldwell cited for speeding and violating a promise to appear in court. Caldwell's kicked off the team, and this has been a long line of garbage from this kid. He was suspended for the first 4 games of last year, for violating team rules, which was later disclosed as being arrested for a DUI.
Wow.
And then suspended again 3 months later, same season. They haven't released why he was out there. And then the other kid was indefinitely suspended, Chandler. He's indefinitely suspended from the team. That's it for this week's blotter.
All right, stick around for my interview with Adam Small from PennBets.com and NJOnlineGambling.com, where we talk all things sports betting. Stick around.
We'll get right back to the show, but I want to take a minute to talk to you about Bean Genius. How would you like your coffee delivered right to your door every month, maybe 2 times a month? Well, now that can happen with Bean Genius. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country at beangenius.com. And Bean Genius actually learns their customers' individual taste preferences, then suggests future coffee blends for them. Well, how do they do that? Well, this is the cool thing about Bean Genius. Over at beangenius.com, they use an algorithm which learns the coffee flavors you like and then pairs up what you like with the coffee that they have in stock. And it's all based upon you. Every time you order, the system learns. The system learns your preferences as you go along and order more and more coffee. And now, all our listeners at Turnpike Sports can get a special offer. You head on over to beangenius.com/subscription, and you'll be able to get 10% off your purchase when you use our promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E, at checkout. That's 10% off at beangenius.com/subscription with promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E. beangenius.com, the smart specialty coffee subscription service.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Well, Super Bowl Sunday has come and gone, and now the real question on a lot of people's minds is, will we be able to bet on the next Super Bowl, especially if you're in Pennsylvania or New Jersey? And as always, to talk about the important issues facing these two states is Adam Small from PennBets.com and NJOnlineGambling.com. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Dave. It's great to be here again. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You know, Adam, when we talk about revenue from sports betting, how much money are we really talking about?
We are talking about billions of dollars per year if we're talking about the entire United States. According to a recent research study published by Gambling Compliance, which is a paywall site, but this paper is actually free to download, it would be a several billion-dollar a year operation throughout the country, and even just in the state of Pennsylvania alone, we'd be talking about a number in the hundreds of millions every year.
Wow. You know, I mentioned the Super Bowl before. Is football the chief revenue producer when it comes to sports betting?
Yes, it is. It's not everything. It's about maybe a little bit more than a third overall in the United States. But yes, it's definitely the biggest sport in the U.S.
You know, when we look at revenue figures, they mostly originate from the Nevada sports books because they're the biggest and they're the best, and they're the ones that do really sports betting across the board. When we try to apply those types of figures to Pennsylvania, what would the revenue figures look like if sports betting was permitted?
So, according to that Gambling Compliance study that came out recently, we'd be looking at about $383.4 million a year in sports betting profits. And that's, of course, before overhead spending and all that and taxes. But in terms of gross gaming revenue, which is how much the house wins from customers each year, and the football portion of that would probably be something around 40% in the state of Pennsylvania. And in New Jersey, we'd be looking at really pretty similar numbers overall. It's a similar size state and market, maybe just a little bit smaller, but definitely in the hundreds of millions there as well.
You know, your article, you really opened my eyes to some issues on sports betting that I really didn't think about. And by the way, you can read the article at PennBets.com. When we try and compute these numbers and compare them to Vegas, how much does the actual destination affect those numbers? I mean, for example, if travelers from London, and don't get me wrong, I love Pennsylvania, but they're not going to travel to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania to place bets on the Super Bowl. They're going to go to Las Vegas. How much do we have to look at that aspect of the two locations when we look at these sports betting revenue numbers?
Yeah, it's a good question, Dave. And, I thought about this a lot when I was writing my article. And one of the things that I was thinking about is that in Nevada, and particularly in Las Vegas, there's a lot of betting that goes on in land-based venues. And there are a lot of people who have traveled. Of course, at the Las Vegas casinos, a lot of the people there are visitors to the state. They're not people who live there. A lot of them are traveling specifically to gamble, and so they're looser with their wallets, more willing to make bets while they're there. But in Pennsylvania, you've got a couple of different advantages in terms of making it a bigger market overall. One is that the state's just much, much bigger in terms of population. I believe Pennsylvania has about 13 million people in it, and Nevada has less than 3 million. So you're talking about a state several times the size of the other. The other major factor in Pennsylvania is that, at least as allowed in the gambling expansion law that passed late last year, online sports betting would be allowed in Pennsylvania, subject to regulation, of course, and to the Supreme Court case that's currently being deliberated by the U.S. Supreme Court, Christie versus the NCAA. But assuming that New Jersey wins that case and that sports betting is once again allowed in the United States outside of Nevada, you have a situation where Pennsylvania could quickly have online sports betting. And what that means is that it would open up sports betting to a much wider audience than what there is in Nevada. Nevada, there is online sports betting, but it requires in-person registration at a casino and some other onerous parts of registration that make it so that a much smaller demographic is actually using it. Whereas in Pennsylvania, it would be much more like what online bettors are accustomed to in the offshore world or in the pre-UIGA world, where you're basically just able to register from the internet anywhere you are and bet on an app or bet on your phone or bet on your computer. And so we do think that online sports betting in Pennsylvania or in New Jersey would be a bigger business than what we see today in Nevada.
Another great point you made in your article is that considering that Las Vegas has a lot more international travelers, different sports could possibly be bet on in Las Vegas that aren't bet on in New Jersey or Pennsylvania. I mean, you gave the example of soccer.
Yeah, I was guesstimating, and I do believe that there's interest in sports like soccer as well in of course, in places like Pennsylvania, New Jersey. But I would guess that the U.S. demographic skews a little bit more towards betting on sports like baseball and football, and probably to a lesser extent basketball. But and the European demographic would certainly skew more towards betting on soccer, or the South American demographic, or any other. But I do think overall it wouldn't be terribly different. We're looking at about 35% in Las Vegas that's bet on football, and I was guessing that maybe it gets up towards 40% in Pennsylvania. And a large part of that, in Pennsylvania specifically, not so much New Jersey, is that Pennsylvania is such a big football state. You've got two really popular pro football teams, and you've also got some very major university teams, Penn State, of course, being a premier national NCAA football team. And so if there's college football betting and pro football betting, I definitely see that being a major part of the overall picture in that state.
I was telling you off air that, I spent the Super Bowl down in Atlantic City, and boy, there was a ton of Eagles fans there, because I guess, Atlantic City is only 45 minutes from Philadelphia, and I guess that's the closest hometown team that they're going to have. And it was amazing how much money was left on the table that I was looking at. It's like all these people I know would have bet on the game, but they just basically can't. And I was thinking the Philadelphia area casinos must be going crazy. I'm talking about Sugar House, Parks, Harrah's. How much of an effect do you feel that a hometown team in the Super Bowl would have towards sports betting?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be huge. I mean, I think that it's hard to say because it's never happened in the U.S. We've never had a city, at least that I know of, with legal sports betting that has a Super Bowl team in it. Just because Nevada's been the only place for so long, and there's no football team there at present. But I would guess that it would have a major effect. I would guess that people would be even more headstrong and sure of themselves and sure of their teams than usual. There's already quite a bit of home team bias in sports betting as it is, but I could definitely see that getting even crazier with the Super Bowl, just with everyone on high with emotions and stuff like that. I also think that there'd be a much greater potential just generally for a casino-type audience for an event like the Super Bowl if there were sports betting allowed. I'm sure that some people do go to some of these facilities to watch the games and to gamble on other things while there, but I imagine that there would be a very, very popular opportunity to go actually sit in a sports book in a casino and watch, and that would be a really fun thing for a lot of people to do and a big moneymaker for the casinos as well.
Yeah, I think you said the dream matchup for any potential Pennsylvania sportsbook would be the Eagles-Steelers, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be off the charts.
Yeah, and it really could have happened. It could have happened this year.
Oh, it's very doable.
And it could happen with Roethlisberger coming back. We got one more chance maybe for that to happen. I'd love to see it personally. I mean, I think for all the things about the crazy things that go on in both those cities with football, I think they both got some of the best fans in the country in terms of just sheer dedication and passion and enthusiasm for their teams.
Oh, absolutely. You know, a couple weeks ago, I was talking to a friend, and I was like, if sports betting was allowed and the Raiders moved to Vegas, can you imagine an Eagles-Raiders Super Bowl? Would that break all gambling records?
Yeah. I mean, as a Titans fan, I can hardly relate. Yeah, right. But even in Nashville, we get down for our team. I mean, we get excited about games, even when the team's not that good. I think people everywhere do. And I see small cities like Buffalo with incredibly dedicated fan bases, and so I definitely think that anywhere you are in the United States, if there's sports betting available in casinos nearby and a team making the Super Bowl, that you're going to see a major uptick in participation.
I got to ask you, in your opinion, are people overestimating the impact that sports betting will have on casinos and the revenue figures? I'm asking this because, I live in New Jersey, and when New Jersey first rolled out online gambling, they had projections that were way higher than what they actually brought in. I mean, are casinos fooling themselves about the potential impact of sports betting?
Well, I don't think casinos are fooling themselves. I think that politicians may be fooling the public, or, the casinos may be fooling the public in their lobbying efforts to gain support for these sorts of things by putting out higher numbers than they should be that aren't realistic. And that was definitely the case in New Jersey. New Jersey's been a slog. The state's doing very well now. The gambling industry is doing great, and this year it's likely to pass $1 billion in lifetime revenue. But it took some time to get there, and there were some technological issues that were just new to the state's situation as being a ring-fence state, meaning that players can play inside the state but not outside it, but that it's surrounded by two very major metropolitan areas kind of right off its borders. And so there were a lot of issues with players seeming to be inside the state, or seeming to be outside the state, but actually being inside the state. And so a lot of people had trouble getting on. There were some issues with banking and whatnot. I think a lot of that's going to be solved. But yeah, New Jersey, they were over-optimistic, and in Pennsylvania and in other states, yes, there might be some overzealous projections at times, but I don't think you're going to find those on sites like Gambling Compliance or on our sites. And I don't think you're going to find them if you speak in a back room with someone from a casino. I think you're going to see them in public as politicians sort of do what they do and try to get support for their positions by saying whatever it takes, which I don't really like, because I think the inevitable disappointment that comes later hurts the cause more than maybe getting it past the finish line the first time helps. But that's kind of what those people do. And we just, I think that at the end of the day, and Robert Delafave on our site on penbets.com wrote an article about this today about how a lot of sports betting in actual casinos is used more as a means of bringing people inside the door rather than as a means of revenue production. That the total sports betting revenue in Nevada casinos, for example, is just quite a bit lower proportionally for the amount of space that the sports book takes up compared to some other areas, other pits in the casino and food and beverage and things like that. But it's a big draw. A lot of people like to go to the casino specifically to sit in the sports book and watch games and make bets. And then the casinos are able to monetize those customers in other ways once they're in there, particularly through just very highly marked up food items and beverages and other forms of gambling and room rates, et cetera, et cetera. With online, it's a little bit tougher, but there's just that's a different business really entirely. But no, I don't think that the casinos are overstating it. I just think that that maybe politicians and lobbyists do tend to do that.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Have you ever wanted something so bad that you do just about anything for it? Well, that's exactly how we feel about you. That's right. AdamandEve.com wants you so bad. We're giving you 10 free gifts with your first order. You heard me right. That's 10 free gifts to spice up your love life. First, you'll get a sexy surprise for her. Second, an adventurous toy for him. And third, a little something we know you'll both enjoy. Plus, you'll get 6 full-length adult movies on DVD. And number 10, free shipping on your entire order. That's 10 free gifts for you shy types who've never tried Adam and Eve before. Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy, a sexy piece of lingerie, or anything you desire. Just enter offer code BABE16 at checkout and you'll get all 10 free gifts, including free shipping. That's offer code BABE16. That's BABE 16 at adamandeve.com.
Now, I'm sure everyone has made some sort of New Year's resolution, whether it's to lose weight, work harder at the office, whatever. And we always seem to break them a few weeks into the year. Well, here's one resolution you need to make and keep. Getting a good night's sleep with MyPillow. They're the most comfortable pillows on the market. Its patented interlocking fill adjusts to everyone and their sleeping habits. I use MyPillow all the time. I sleep great at night and wake up pain-free. I even travel with MyPillow. And now there's a great new deal being offered by the folks at MyPillow. For a limited time, House of Cards listeners can receive a very special offer. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and use promo code CARDS or call 1-800-319-7913 to take advantage of this 4-pack special. You'll get 50% off 2 MyPillow premium pillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. MyPillow.com with promo code CARDS. That's promo code CARDS to take advantage of this 4-pack special. Better sleep starts with MyPillow. Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. For those of you just joining us, I am talking to Adam Small from NGOnlineGambling.com and PennBets.com. You know, I'm glad you brought up Robert Delafave because I asked him this question last time I talked to him, so I want to ask you it. In your opinion, the next time I watch a professional football game in New Jersey or Pennsylvania, will I be able to legally place a bet on one of the teams?
My guess would be no, just because that's so soon. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say it's impossible, and I'm probably on the pessimistic side with this because Jeff Ifra, who's a really prominent lawyer in the internet gaming scene, seems to think that if the Supreme Court takes takes the side of New Jersey and repeals PASPA, or even if they do a partial repeal that allows New Jersey to license sports betting, we think, well, Jeff Ipra seems to think that there could be sports betting available within a week after that happens. I'm really skeptical of that. I think that there's going to be a period of time. New Jersey typically has soft launches for this sort of thing, where there's like a set date where these operators can be ready and have all their software approved and everything like that before they start taking bets. My guess is that it would be a period of months, and if the Supreme Court case is resolved in, say, April, which seems like a pretty likely time for it to happen, April or May, it's going to be a very tight window to have like legal betting actually happening by the time of the football season. But I won't say it's impossible. I just would lean towards it not quite being ready yet.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things I was really wanting to get your opinion on is I know right after the oral arguments were over in the U.S. Supreme Court case, Governor Chris Christie, the former Governor Chris Christie, said on the courthouse steps that once the decision to permit sports betting is handed down, New Jersey can start taking bets in 2 weeks. And I thought that was way overly optimistic. But is that even a credible scenario, do you think?
I think it's unlikely.
Yeah.
I'm not, I guess, I think I like Jeff Ipra, who represents a lot of the operators and things like that. And obviously Chris Christie being the governor, it's really hard for me to say that I know more than them, but it seems unlikely to me. New Jersey's very, very careful about gambling. They're very, very careful about everything related to gambling and making sure that there's nothing at all that could be problematic that comes along with it. And so my guess is that they're going to be cautious and set up a timeline that's more like a period of a few months rather than a period of days or weeks.
Well, in New Jersey, let's stay in New Jersey. If the decision comes down to allow sports betting, what casinos or horse tracks are in the best position right now to start taking bets on sports?
So the number one best one would be Monmouth Park. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Monmouth Park.
Monmouth, yeah. So they've actually had a deal in place for a few years now with William Hill, which is a very major sportsbook provider in Europe, and they've actually built out a sports betting section of their facility. And right now, it basically just functions as a sports bar. You can go in there and watch games and see ads for William Hill, woohoo, right? But basically, the minute that they're allowed to take bets, they're ready to do it. And I would say that after them, the next closest would be Borgata, who recently announced plans, and as far as I know, has already started building out their sports book. Now, to add on to that, there's an interesting part of the New Jersey law that says that facilities would be allowed. I might be mixing up New Jersey and Pennsylvania, but the facilities in one of those states, I believe it's New Jersey, would be allowed to actually have people gambling in like an auxiliary facility, meaning something, basically they build a temporary attachment to the casino that's not a part of the main casino building that they can use for up to 18 months while they build their permanent sports book. And this seems specifically designed to allow betting very, very quickly once legalization happens. And I'm sorry, my brain fried there on which of those two states it was, but that's
it's New Jersey. I think it's New Jersey because I think we made fun of that. Oh boy, they're going to have trailers where you can walk in and place a bet.
I know, it reminded me of, I used to live in Costa Rica for a period of time, and this popular restaurant that also sort of doubled as a sports book down there had this tent outside, and I was just imagining a tent like that outside one of these casinos where people walk up and order draft beers and make sports bets. Who knows, maybe the DGE will be cool with it. I mean, I wouldn't mind. Well, but apart from those two, I think that in New Jersey, every single gambling facility will be a sports book provider within a year or so.
That was my question. I mean, do you see all of Atlantic City casinos being a part of this, or have you talked to anyone that says, you know what, we're going to stay what we're doing and we're not concentrating on that. But it looks like they're all going to jump into the sports betting scene, right?
Yeah, I mean, I ran through it one by one just in my head recently to try to figure out if anyone wouldn't be. And I think I went into it with the mindset that probably it would be around 80 or 90% of everything would. And I just couldn't think of anybody that wouldn't want to do it. In fact, other than resorts, every single casino in Atlantic City is tied to a company that also has a casino in Vegas with a sports book. So every single one of those companies except resorts is already operating a sports book somewhere. And then resorts might be the single most sports-focused casino in Atlantic City. They've already got Fast Pick, the daily fantasy-like product that they're running. They've certainly got their eye on sports, and then you've got Hard Rock coming in, which certainly is going to have its eye on sports. And I just don't see any of them sitting out. And then as far as the racetracks are concerned, I mean, they're the most obvious ones that are going to want to be involved in sports. You've already got people there betting on horses, which is essentially the same thing in a lot of ways. So, yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be sitting out. I think you're going to have the whole industry jump in and jump in quickly.
You know, we've gotten a lot of questions about what sports betting will look like in Pennsylvania. I mean, I'm assuming the resort-style casinos will have sports betting. But will it be like Jersey? The horse tracks will get into it. And also, we've gotten questions about, will these mini casinos that will be popping up around the state, will they handle sports betting? Have you gotten any information on that, or are those details still going to be worked out?
That's a good question. I think the details are going to be worked out. There's going to be a $10 million licensing fee for land-based casinos to conduct sports betting. And as far as I know, they're all going to be allowed to do it, but I'm not completely sure about that. And that might come out later as regulatory specifics start coming out later. But I would expect it in a lot of places. And we're pretty confident that there will be online sports betting in the state as well. And I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of issues with it because, like Parks, for example, Parks Casino likes to come out and kind of muddy up the water about all these debates about online because they've got such a strong land-based presence that they're trying to prevent their competition from catching up to them in any way. But at the end of the day, it seems like the way the state is moving is kind of ignoring those objections from Parks and from Sands and focusing on just overall revenue growth for the state. That seems to be their main focus. And that means more licensees, more operators, especially with these high licensing fees. So we do expect them to allow a lot of casinos into the fray and a lot of online operators.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned the internet and online. And anytime we mention betting, you have to discuss the online element. Do you see the online component to sports betting in both New Jersey and Pennsylvania very quickly coming out in conjunction with the land-based sports betting, or will the online have to come down the road a bit?
I think it's going to have to come down the road a bit. I don't think anyone wants to wait. I think the technology is all there, and it could be quick. But just based on what I've seen in the regulatory stuff with online gambling, casino, and poker in New Jersey, my suspicion is that there would be a period of at least 6 months where the DG is going to have to check everybody's software and check a whole bunch of things that everybody's doing before they allow online. They're very, very careful with the software for casino games and poker. I know maybe it's a little bit different for sports because you're not playing a game that requires random number generators and things like that. But all the same, I think that they're going to be checking everything very carefully. And particularly with online, there's some concerns that don't exist in live, not the least of which is knowing customers and being able to avoid scandalous activities on the customer side, which are more common than people might realize in sports.
Adam, we're running out of time, but I want to remind everyone to stay on top of these important issues at PennBets.com and NJOnlineGambling.com. Adam Small, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dave. It's great to be here.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
We'll get right back to the show, but I want to take a minute to talk to you about Bean Genius. How would you like your coffee delivered right to your door every month, maybe 2 times a month? Well, now that can happen with Bean Genius. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country at beangenius.com. And Bean Genius actually learns their customers' individual taste preferences, then suggests future coffee blends for them. Well, how do they do that? Well, this is the cool thing about Bean Genius. Over at beangenius.com, they use an algorithm which learns the coffee flavors you like and then pairs up what you like with the coffee that they have in stock. And it's all based upon you. Every time you order, the system learns. The system learns your preferences as you go along and order more and more coffee. And now, all our listeners at Turnpike Sports can get a special offer. You head on over to beangenius.com/subscription, and you'll be able to get 10% off your purchase when you use our promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E, at checkout. That's 10% off at beangenius.com/subscription with promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E. beangenius.com, the smart specialty coffee subscription service.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. As we said before, the NBA All-Star Game is this week. But you know what? It's never just the game. It's all the crap that swirls around it. And Doug, it's in Los Angeles this year, so
it's in Hollywood. Every year they have all the different events for the actual athletes on TV, but surrounding this entire weekend, they always have parties and everything. And Variety was kind enough to release a guide to the 2018 NBA All-Star Weekend.
So this is from Variety. So it should be star-oriented or entertainment-oriented parties, right?
Pretty much, yeah. You have they have the All-Star Celebrity Game presented by Ruffles, which is going to feature Nick Cannon, Jamie Foxx, Anthony Anderson. They're actually on the court, but there are parties all the way around. See, that's cool.
I like that, where the people can actually watch this thing. I mean, some of these parties that I'm sure you're going to talk about, I don't think the average spectator will be able to get in, right?
No.
Okay.
This actually you have to buy a ticket for it.
Oh,
it goes to charity, all that stuff.
Okay, well, that's good. So.
But you have stuff like this.
But the tickets are ridiculous.
Yeah, the tickets are crazy. Here's a couple of them. These are happening Friday night. Kitsune Rooftop Party.
Kitsune? Is that a restaurant or something?
It's a restaurant.
Okay.
It's a kickoff celebration at the Ace Hotel with fashion, music, and sports.
Okay.
Feature a number of live performances. It's basically a fashion week kind of thing set during the All-Star weekend.
Oh, yeah, it's Fashion Week in New York. Does that mean it's Fashion Week everywhere?
Sort of. Then we have the Budweiser Live event during the NBA All-Star weekend, which is also Friday night. It's a unveil of a new thing from Budweiser. It's sort of this Budweiser Live concert series that they're doing.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
They're going to have performances by T-Pain, Da Hoodie.
T-Pain, Da Hoodie.
I don't know any of these performers. I'm sad to say, but
T-Pain.
This is going to happen at the City Market Social House and it's going to have basketball contests, meet and greets with NBA All-Stars, and also Budweiser.
See, that's good for Budweiser. They're bringing it out to the spectators.
Here's the Jack Daniels Blame It on the Game party.
There you go.
Jamie Foxx hosts the invite-only party held at the Jeremy in West Hollywood.
Okay.
That's a party right there.
You needed to be invited for that one.
Yes, that's invite-only.
Is that the rope line or the red...
whatever you call it,
like Studio 54, you have to be chosen to get in.
Look, it's L.A. It's basketball. So. You got to have Lakers colors. It's probably a purple line.
Oh yeah,
it's one of those things. Then you have the Express NBA Game Changers, which is food and clothing given out at an invite-only gifting lounge at the Lux City Center Hotel. I've never heard of a gifting lounge before.
If it's an invite-only, these people who you invite usually don't need clothing given to them. They can afford it, but I don't know what that one's
swag.
About. Yeah, it's swag bags.
And this is the only one I've noticed in the list here that is having an NBA 2K18 esports party kind of thing. You're able to play the game. Right. You're able to play the games there.
They're actually playing. Do they actually have the NBA players playing the video games, or do they have spectators playing?
It's whoever's at the party.
Oh, okay. So they're going to have stations where you can sit and play the games. Yep. That's pretty cool. Now, will NBA players be there?
Yeah, supposedly.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. I like that one.
Now, this is all before the game, too, by the way.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And that's not invite only.
No,
right?
That one's not invite only.
Okay. Good.
Then you have BET's Enter the Man Cave event, which is a pop-up event. which is basically they just chose a spot and they pop up everything. It's like a willy-nilly kind of thing, but really not, if you think about it.
I mean, I'm sure they have the site planned right now. I'm sure they're decorated right now.
It's actually,
I don't know why that's a pop-up.
It's actually a launch party for a new show.
Oh, really? Okay.
Called Enter the Man Cave.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's basically
is it a sport-themed show?
Yeah, well, obviously.
Okay,
but it's one of those shows with a bunch. It's centered around a bunch of guys.
Oh, okay.
So that's why Enter the Man Cave. So it's a launch party for that. So it's,
they
got
timing for it.
Perfect timing for it. Then you have also they're having something called manicures.
Manicures. I don't know.
Manicures for men.
And this is at the BET party.
Yeah, at the Enter the Man Cave BET party. So that's a little twist on everything. They're
weird,
having manicures, but they're also having manicures.
Manicures. Okay.
And massages. So,
all right, okay.
And finally, they're also going to have an NBA Legends brunch.
See, that would be good. I hope that's not invite only. I hope people can actually go and see some of the legends.
It's almost an award ceremony.
Oh, okay.
It's former All-Stars receive honors at the 19th annual brunch ceremony hours before the game tip-off.
Oh, so this is a annual event.
Last year they recognized Grant Hill and David Robinson for their talent as well as humanitarianism. So it's an award ceremony.
That's nice.
There's a whole bunch of different things for different people, and this is all before the game tips off. Sorry, it's basketball.
All right, sounds good. By the way, I'm not going to any of those parties. By the way,
I'm probably never going to watch the NBA game.
I'll watch it. Now look, I promise I'm going to watch the Olympics, and I'll watch the NBA All-Star game. There you go.
You know, I want to see them go to 400 points because lately they've been going 150, 160, that sort of thing. So I want to see them hit 400 points total.
Well, no one plays defense, so who cares?
All right, that's it for us today. Come back next week, and we'll see you again on the Turnpike.